This is Nate Beavers from Houston, Texas. I got a shop out here in the east side of downtown called Figurehead Tattoo. Today I'm talking to Timmy B, NiteOwl Tattoos in Massachusetts. We did a collab recently that we're gonna kind of just break down verbally and go from there.
So pretty much I started tattooing like 11 years ago, and one of my first and most favorite tattooers was Nate. 10 years later, we're doing a collab together and I'm tattooing, and it's like, that's the scariest thing ever. Like, I mean, super flattering, super humbling, awesome, greatest opportunity ever, just like these scariest things.
I'm sure a lot of people are interested, like, oh, well, how do you go about doing a collab, or how do you come up with ideas and stuff?
When someone gives you complete free reign to kind of do whatever you want, I feel like that's the hardest way to approach anything. Like, if you have no guidelines and you're just pulling from midair, it's way harder.
Honestly, it just came up and then we just went with it because we didn't have a lot of ideas. I feel like.
That's cool though. I mean, it happened pretty fluid once we came with the idea too. Like Nate kind of mocked up the skull and shell, and then we saw it opening from the shell. And I was like, well, tentacles look pretty cool right there. Give it some good flow and be less stagnant.
Yeah. I mean, we could have sat around all day and like we could have, we talked about maybe like passing back and forth some Procreate stuff, but I think kind of the spontaneous move that we pulled was the best one, I guess.
Luckily, our client sounded like a beast too, so I gotta give him some credit, because that dude, man, he let us do whatever we wanted, and he could not have sat better. So shout out to Sean.
I want to get your opinion on something. The whole InkMaster thing. I got a lot of hate from a lot of people about something that I said on there. You want dumb stuff? You're gonna get a dumb tattoo.
I don't get that, bro.
These canvases, they're people.
Everybody gets the tattoo they deserve.
That's up.
I feel like you got very misinterpreted by saying that, because like I agree with you, and it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't mean if you're a bad person you should get a bad tattoo. It just means like if you're super finicky and you're super picky and you dictate every little fucking detail that like the artist is trying to like help you get a better tattoo, and you're preventing them from doing something they know will work better, then you get the tattoo that you deserve. You get the tattoo that you want, which isn't necessarily the best tattoo it could be. It's the same as like back in the day. It's like, oh, how did that tribal half sleeve come out? It's like, man, it came out the best it could for being a tribal half sleeve.
This collab was like a perfect scenario platform just to prove that point, because like it could have been horrible if he was like, I don't like that conch shell, can you turn it into a cowboy hat? Or something like, it's like,
exactly. And then
dude,
we're still gonna try our hardest to make it the best tattoo for him, but at the end of the day, it's just not as successful of a tattoo. Like, you get the tattoo you deserve does not mean it's gonna be bad. It's the best job we can do based on your dictation.
on what they want. You referenced saying that you like to look at pictures of like the moon and stuff. Like, what is it exactly that you're getting out of that? Just a textural thing? Or?
Yeah, and just like, I definitely look at everything around and kind of study how everything plays off each other. So even just like the halo around the moon and the sky, and what kind of clouds are near it, and what kind of light is onto those, or like the divot textures from the moon, or even a pothole in the road. So half the time I'll just be somewhere and I'm just staring at something and looking like a psychopath. I'm just like, kind of like getting lost in it, just thinking about just shadow stuff or light things. Sometimes I'll purposely do things that I know are wrong, but I think it'll just look better as a tattoo. And like the Tony Ciavaro method is what I call it, because he's like, if I want something to be fucking blue, it's gonna be blue. Like, I don't care if it's not supposed to be there, or like if it wouldn't hit this spot exactly. I don't care.
Would it be similar to like color theory and not putting like a blue next to a blue?
Or even just like a light source. He'll put it kind of like wherever he wants it. It looks amazing. It looks like it's right, but there's gonna be times where it's like, yeah, I know it wouldn't actually be right there, but it looks better. And I just admire that so much, because I've caught myself overthinking tattoos and ripping myself apart over and over and over, even after they're done, and I'm never gonna do that tattoo again.
That's what makes you a better artist, and anybody a better artist, if they can critique themselves hard enough and care enough to like sit there and go through it in their mind again after the tattoo's already done.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming out and doing this collab, and I like your work. You're awesome. Now I'll follow your work. Thanks for coming out, man. It was good talking to you.
A pleasure, man. Truly honored.
It's awesome. We gotta do it again sometime.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you so much for having me.